You're listening to Your Personal Realtor, hosted by Eric McKenna with RE/MAX Advanced Realtors. Content and sponsorship is provided by Eric McKenna, and the show is brought to you by CallEric.com.
Eric McKenna Show, real estate talk and more with RE/MAX Advanced Realtor, Eric McKenna, yours truly. And our show, as always, is sponsored by CallEric.com. Great to be with you, and thank you so much for giving us a small part of your Saturday. We're here every Saturday from 10 to noon. I am always joined by the one and only Matt the Durzik behind the big board. How are you, my friend?
Doing good. It's been a very solid week of fun on the air.
Yeah,
doing it in Beaver County. And, it's we had a lot of fun. Part of one of the more interesting bits we did was yesterday, talking about that incident over in Warren, Ohio. Did you happen to hear about that?
No, I did not. Enlighten me.
Someone of my age, of the millennial generation, although I don't want to associate anymore with the people who did this.
Okay.
Went to a McDonald's asking for an Egg McMuffin. They were out of Egg McMuffins.
Okay.
And so they went to the window and drew a gun.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, not necessarily a great day for the gene pool, I have to say.
For an Egg McMuffin?
For an Egg McMuffin.
I mean, not even some hash browns?
No.
Just an Egg McMuffin?
Yeah.
They drew a gun for an Egg
They
McMuffin.
drew a gun for an Egg McMuffin. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot.
It's quite embarrassing.
So I can imagine that this was indeed... That's all they asked for, no money, just wanted an Egg McMuffin.
I guess so.
Were they captured?
I would imagine so.
Okay, we don't know that. We don't know that's fact yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. That's essentially all. Whenever you think that, you would imagine they're just so stupid that they did get captured, and you just want to leave it at that.
Well, that is an inauspicious start to our show today, man. That's for darn sure.
Well, you asked how I was.
Yes, I did. Friends, thank you so much for, again, like I mentioned earlier, making us part of your Saturday from 10 to noon here. We're going to get into some real estate talk today. I'm going to ask my audience, both on Facebook Live, which has not appeared yet because we're having a little technical difficulty, which we're going to fix, and our audience on the wide area coverage of Beaver County Radio, to please bear with me today. I am under the weather, but there was no way I was missing this show. So I am fully medicated, tranquilized, and live. And I promise I'm not contagious. I've been tranquilized and medicated for a good week now. I think the contagious part is gone, but the voice is still coming back.
Yes.
So, good to be here. And Matt, it's good to see you as always, my friend.
Good to see you.
Very good show today earlier on the Sports Slam. I got an opportunity to listen to it. I tried to call in and speak to John, your baseball expert.
Yes,
but didn't get a chance to come in. But man, he's such a good guest.
He is. He's phenomenal.
He's a great guest. Yeah, he's a great guest, and it's baseball. So
yeah. By the way, were you blown away by that statistic like I was?
Very much
about Charlie Morton becoming the first pitcher ever to win 2 Game 7s in the same time?
Of all the World Series, and all the pitchers that have pitched in all the Game 7s, him.
Yeah,
him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another bag of salt in the wounds.
It is a bag of salt, but it's unfortunately, this seems to be the black cloud that follows the Pirates around.
Yeah. You take them out of that uniform, put them in some new colors, and boom, all of a sudden they
everything is the same.
Because it wasn't just Charlie Morton winning 2 Game 7s. Tony Watson won Game 6.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
If that didn't hurt enough, it's like here we go with, all these Pirate pitchers, having successes that weren't.
Good save.
You okay over there?
I'm okay. Yeah. It's been an event here getting here today. I will say this, friends, it's going to be a good show, and I'm real happy, and I've been waiting for this show for quite a while. My good friend, and how can I put this? Closing officer extraordinaire. Miss Denise Doyle is my special guest today, and we're going to try to demystify what's known in real estate as probably the most confusing part of the process, and that is the closing. Denise works for what I consider to be the finest closing company in the area, Pennsylvania Land Title, hands down. She is my go-to closing company. I have known Denise a little bit before I was actually a realtor. Coincidentally, I went into this crazy business, and immediately I sought out Denise's counsel for help, and she helped my learning curve. She's been a mentor to me on the closing end of the procedural part of what I do. My clients love her. I know so many other realtors that use her exclusively. She does a tremendous job, and the firm she works for, PA Land Title, Pennsylvania Land Title, but we call it PA Land Title, run by fabulous people and just a top-quality organization, and I'm proud to say they are part of my loose team. So I'm delighted to have Denise here. We're going to answer your questions, whether it's on Facebook Live, once that gets rolling, or indeed with the two most famous, most powerful, most prestigious numbers in all of Beaver County, 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. As always, we're here with the incredible Matt Durzik. I am your host. This is the Eric McKenna Show. I am Eric McKenna, and thank you again for including us in your Saturday. I mean that. It's difficult. It's Saturday morning. A lot of you had a good Friday night. For you to want to get up and listen to real estate talk in the morning on Saturday is a blessing, and I do not forget that. So thank you. Again, bear with me. My voice is not optimum. But again, I will not miss this show. I have too much fun. I have more fun than law allows here. And it's still amazing to me that the management and staff and Matt actually gets up to enable me to do this on Saturdays. So thank you, my friend. Thank
no problem.
What we're going to do is a little unusual. We're going to go to break early. I'm going to try to rectify our Facebook Live issue that I have here during our break. And then we'll come back. I'm going to bring Denise right into the fold when we come back. This is the Eric McKenna Show. Real estate talk and more with RE/MAX Advanced Realtor, Eric McKenna, yours truly. And I'll be right back. Hello, friends. This is RE/MAX Advanced Realtor Eric McKenna with CallEric.com. and host of Your Personal Realtor on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. I really hope you are enjoying today's show. Friends, did you know that I can be your personal realtor? That's right. If you're looking to list your home or buy a new home, call or text me today at 412-613-4466. That's 412-613-4466. Or send me an email at sold@calleric.com. That's sold@calleric.com. I just love it when listeners become clients. So why not contact me today and let me put my social media advertising to work for you. Together, we can reach your real estate goals. This is your personal realtor, Eric McKenna, with RE/MAX Advanced Realtors and CallEric.com.
The back-to-back Stanley Cup champions are on Beaver County Radio.
Here's Cole, might have a chance. Mr. Score, he got it! Ian Cole gives the Penguins a 1-0 lead. No, tell your ma, tell your pa. We're going to send him back to Arkansas.
Follow the Penguins all season long with local coverage presented by Rochester Manor and Villa, Roberts Roadside Inn, St. Barnabas Beaver Meadows, Apart from the Ordinary, Suman Automotive, and Beaver County Radio, WBVP, and WMBA.
WBVP and WMBA invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 as WBVP and WMBA present Sounds of Faith, a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by Crawford Tire in Beaver, City Rescue Mission, Life Beaver County, MRS Physical Therapy, the William Murphy Funeral Home Incorporated, and Rome Monument and Inspirational Gifts. Sounds of Faith, uplifting, relaxing, and inspiring radio. Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 on WBVP and WMBA.
724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888.
Those are the Beaver County radio numbers and probably the most famous in all of Beaver County.
right.
Oh, okay. So you were waiting for me.
I was.
Friends, we are back. Welcome back to the Eric McKenna Show. It is good to be here with you. I think we've got our Facebook Live mess straightened out. Hello to Doug and Michelle, Lexi, and Trisha. Thank you for joining us already here. As you can see on Facebook Live, and for those listening, I can assure you she's here. Miss Denise Doyle with Pennsylvania Land Title, a very prestigious closing company here in Western PA, is here, and we'll be their guest for the full 2 hours because, as Denise knows, as Matt laughs at weekly, this is a variety show. We talk real estate, but we also deviate into humor, and it isn't always intentional.
No.
Sometimes it just happens.
It does.
And, of course, we always end it with a little sports talk and have fun. You can join the fun here at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. You have any questions for Denise? We're going to be talking about closing, and we're trying to make what can seem to be a tedious part of the real estate transaction fun. And if anybody can make closing fun, because I've watched it with my own 2 eyes at the closing table, it's Denise Doyle. So that's
my goal. That is my goal.
So let's always full disclosure on this show. Denise, is the first time Matt has ever met you. Is that correct? So Matt's going to be basically engaging in the show as a listener would. I've known Denise a couple years prior to becoming a realtor. Denise knew me back from the guitar days many moons ago. A lot of bar stories there we can't talk about. But fun time, innocent fun times, I will say, generally speaking, somewhat. But when I became a realtor, Denise was a tremendously important part of my development, and I'll be forever grateful for that. I mean, I sincerely will tell you that, and no goofing around. We've talked at this show for a long time about the process of what it takes to buy or sell a home. Matt shaking his head because we've really been laborious, really being detail oriented, step by step by step. The final part of the puzzle, generally speaking, that we haven't dove into because it really isn't my area of expertise as a realtor, is closing. And I get asked this question all the time by home buyers, especially. Hey, okay, Eric, you give me this buyer's cost sheet of what this is going to cost me. And here's my estimated traditional closing costs, and what the heck are these prepaid taxes and stuff down here? And then you're trying to tell me that these prepaid taxes and these traditional closing costs all go in a big pot, and that's called the closing cost. So we're going to try to demystify all this, and then Denise is going to tell us a little bit about what her firm does and why I call them. It's a magic factory for me because there's so many moving parts getting you to the closing table. And Denise's firm, like any good closing company, takes all those moving parts and ties them up in one big, nice, bright yellow bow and presents all the paperwork, which gets signed at the closing table. And the seller walks out either relieved of their debt or with a check, generally.
Or both.
Or both, right? Combination of both. And the new home owner or property owner leaves with their new property. So that's why the closing table is a phenomenal part. And, of course, us realtors, we get paid. So ultimately, that's a good part of the closing process as well. But, Denise, let's take it all the way back to the very beginning. A little background on yourself. How did you end up at Pennsylvania Land Title? What is a little bit about your background that the audience can know?
Sure. I started 1986. 1986. I graduated from college. Hush it.
You did?
I did. I'm a graduate of Duquesne University. Graduated and was kind of looking for a job, trying to find my place. And I had a friend who did title searches, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, part of your closing process is, in fact, a title search of the property that you are purchasing to see what kind of liens might be on it, what kind of taxes might be owing, to determine who actually owns the property and is able to sell it. And that's how I began. Being in the courthouse every day, running into different attorneys and gentlemen who were in the real estate business, I found myself in a position to accept a job at a title company that was relatively new to the area and started working for them late 1986, early 1987. and bounced around a little bit. I worked at Housing Mortgage, for anybody who's been in the business a long time. It's now the Carpenters Union on the Parkway, that big, pretty glass building.
Oh, they keep building onto it, too. Okay.
Yep, yes, indeed. Used to be Housing Mortgage.
Right.
And when Housing Mortgage, unfortunately, folded, I was offered a job with Pennsylvania Land Titles. At the time, they had a South Hills office. So I started working for them in their South Hills office and made my way to our Aliquippa office, where I was for probably 15 years.
Right here in Beaver County.
In Beaver County, that's correct. In their wide area coverage.
Right. Yes, very good, very good.
And then we consolidated. We had a South Hills and North Hills and a Beaver County office. And we consolidated all of those offices and wound up in Robinson, which seemed to be relatively central. So I've been doing this for a year or two.
Or 12. Or 20.
Or 30.
Or 30.
I was trying to be nice, Denise.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And let's just get right into it. Because, what are the basic features, or what are the basic services that Pennsylvania Land Title does for lenders and working through realtors? Explain that to the public.
Just to run you through the process very quickly.
That'd help.
What initially happens is it begins, of course, with an agreement of sale. And that is something that realtors prepare.
Yes, we do.
And submit. And frankly, you can't move forward with the process with either the lender or with us.
Okay, so let me just interrupt 1 second. As we talked many weeks on this show, when you're out looking for a house and you viewed it with your realtor and it's the house you want, you talk to your realtor about your offer, and then your realtor presents the offer to the other realtor and it gets bounced back and forth. When you come under terms, you now have an agreement that is under agreement. You both sign, there is now an executed contract. It goes straight to the lender, and also it gets forwarded to
the title agent.
PA Land Title. Okay.
From that point, we open a new file, which we're always happy to do.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
Keeps the doors open. So we open a new file. We order immediately the title examination. And then there are also items that are required that don't fall under what you might find when you do a title search.
Okay, let's just talk about the title search for 1 second again.
Okay.
What you're doing is you're examining that piece of property and the history of ownership.
That's
that correct? So going back, it can be 10 years, 20 years.
65 years is the industry standard.
65 years. So in that 65 years, if there was a note placed on the property, if there might have been a judgment because of an unpaid debt, a lien put on the property.
Correct.
Maybe there was a court dispute over borders and things like that. If there was boundaries, whatever. It isn't. Would deficiencies be a correct word or not?
I wouldn't say deficiencies.
Okay.
We call them blemishes.
Okay, but if there are any blemishes,
there
for
are
those
any
who are watching us
blemishes on the title, any clouds.
Denise's first responsibility there is to find them.
That's exactly
and identify
right.
them
And clear them.
Now
we're like Clearasil for titles.
Okay, so I like
for
that.
blemishes on titles, right?
Wow.
What can you say after that?
What are we
doing
here?
Well, what are we doing here? Just give her the whole
it.
show. That's perfect. Oh my God, just give her the show. Okay, so if that is correct, then talk about the types of blemishes that you have had, history in resolving.
There's the most common, I would say, is when you borrow money to buy a piece of property. Once you've repaid that money, the person from whom you borrowed or the company from whom you borrowed has to actually physically take a document down to the courthouse where this mortgage is filed and remove it, right? They file what's called a satisfaction.
It has to be physically done.
It has to be physically done.
Okay.
So if the mortgage company mails you the satisfaction and it doesn't make its way to the courthouse,
ouch,
you know it's satisfied, but nobody else does.
Understood.
So that's the most common. We find mortgages from 1972 that have never been satisfied, and then you talk to the customer, the owner, And they say, often rightly so, I didn't even own this property in 1972.
Wow.
So we have to try to track those down.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically paperwork that was not fulfilled
Correct.
in different decades, probably human error. Naturally, if someone completed their mortgage, but the mortgage company didn't actually coordinate with the local municipality or county there,
With just the county.
It was never recorded.
That's correct. And what typically, especially back with those older documents, typically the mortgage company did not have the burden of satisfying. They just had to send it to the person who paid the loan off. So they sent it regularly and routinely to the mortgage or the borrower.
And it was our responsibility as a consumer to take it down to the courthouse?
That's correct.
Wow. When did that change? Any idea when that law changed?
A lot with this CFPB stuff and consumer protection.
Oh, consumer protection. Okay.
Correct. Because they've kind of
letters.
determined. We're big on acronyms and letters.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So, that's typically when someone even looks at their payoff letter for any seller who may or may not actually look at the numbers,
right,
they'll find somewhere in the itemization of what they're being charged a satisfaction fee.
Wow. Okay.
Because, of course, the courthouse charges.
Certainly.
Right, to record that satisfaction.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
It's the government.
So a lot of times people didn't, everybody who talks about having a mortgage burning party,
yes.
we're like, no,
don't burn your mortgage.
Don't do it.
So let's vet this out for a second. You're telling me in the past, it was up, and you paid off your mortgage. Say you're at a 20-year loan, and the 20th year came, the last payment, you send it, and they send you a receipt. Paid in full for 123 Main Street.
Right.
And you lean back on your couch and you go, wow. You're telling me at that point back then, you weren't done. You had to take that payoff to the county to record that you actually own the property.
Correct.
It wasn't the responsibility of the mortgage company to notify the county and say, hey, by the way, Matt Durzik just paid off his mortgage.
Yep.
And he now owns this property free and clear.
That's correct.
Wow. See, I would never have known that. There you go, friends.
And it still happens. I will tell you most significantly, talking about other blemishes, touch on this very briefly.
Okay.
Folks who don't pay their income tax. Ooh. Yeah, the IRS looks darkly on that.
Oh, good word, darkly.
And they tend to file a lien.
Sternly.
They do. They file a lien. And they too, because of course they are most godlike,
they are.
They will send, once the consumer pays that debt or lien off, regularly and routinely, even now, they send the satisfaction slip to the debtor, to the taxpayer,
and not the county,
who has no idea they have to run it down to the prothonotari's office.
Interesting.
With a check for $10.50 or whatever the satisfaction fee is these days in the prothonotari's office, and remove that lien from record.
So it's up to the consumer then.
It is.
And, of course, the IRS and their liens supersede any other lien.
Every lien ever.
That you could possibly have on a property.
For 10 years and 30 days.
The government is getting paid first.
That's correct.
They
can't defeat a purchase money mortgage. People, when we talk about buying a piece of property and you use the mortgage money.
Yes.
And it's actually, you'll note customers maybe who were at a closing. You might see that right on the top of the mortgage. It says purchase money mortgage.
Yes.
Purchase money mortgage is a very powerful instrument.
So that actually supersedes an IRS lien on a property.
Well, it would be difficult to defeat.
Okay.
Right? It would be difficult to defeat. The IRS does purport that they defeat everything and anything. That being said, purchase money mortgage is a very powerful document.
Okay, so title search completed. Let's say we're just a fictitious property we're talking about. It comes back and there's no blemishes. It's clear skin. Clear seal's not needed.
Clear seal is not needed.
Okay, part 2. What is Denise's next step in the process of closing?
Well, then we collect what we call exhibits. And exhibits.
I sound like I'm in a court here.
You kind of are. And what the exhibits provide, there's typically at least 2 which would be both a tax certification
Okay.
and then a municipal lien letter.
Okay, so let's take one step at a time.
Sure.
The first exhibit is a tax certification, meaning simply what? That the owner of the property has paid all the taxes relevant to the property?
That's correct, the real estate taxes. Real estate tax collectors have 4 years, I believe, to file a lien.
Interesting.
So you can not pay your taxes for 2 years.
Sell the property and then
Sell
still stiff them on taxes.
You got it if
That's
you
terrible.
don't order a tax certification.
See, I think that's terrible.
Well, that's life.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So let's say you've paid all your taxes. Now that's been completed. What is the second part?
It's called a municipal lien letter.
And this would be for like trash pickup?
No, municipal liens cover perhaps sidewalk installation in a borough. They might cover...
Hush, woman.
You're in Coriopolis, you know.
Hush, woman.
What kind of shape are your sidewalks in, my man?
Hush.
He works in Robinson. He's not using sidewalks.
Right. You're never going to be on this show again.
Your sidewalks are cracked, aren't they?
They're wonderful. They're fantastic.
But that's a very good example. Streetlights, when you get out in the further counties, sometimes, believe it or not, there's a streetlight assessment.
I never heard of such a thing.
There is.
Interesting.
Sometimes some folks have a fire assessment.
What would that be?
That's a fire hydrant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Especially out here. I mean, Matt, really? In Beaver? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are many. Raccoon immediately springs to mind. I think there's both a street light.
You're familiar with this?
What with what?
There's a fee, a fire hydrant fee.
Hydrant tax and a street light tax.
I mean, that makes sense, I would imagine, because there's those utilities, as old
built
school
with
as
the
they
local
are.
tax.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's actually separated on the tax bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that makes more sense than, giving it to, PennDOT or something like that. Yeah.
But bear in mind the taxes, the taxing structure in Beaver County, the millages are smaller.
They are.
Right? So they're not collecting.
I could do a whole show on that, and we might. Okay, friends, we're going to head off to another break here. I'm going to wet my whistle, and Denise is going to do the same as I give her this bottle of water, because she says she doesn't want one, but I know she does.
Because he didn't make coffee. Everyone who knows me knows I need coffee. There's no coffee here this morning, folks.
Matt and I do not want to have a discussion about the lack of the green room here, but we're going to move right away.
What do you mean, the lack of a green room?
Bitter party of one. Your coffee is not waiting.
Friends, thank you so much. You are listening to the Eric McKenna Show on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. Special thanks to everyone on Facebook Live, Tony and Amy and Doug and everybody else that's been joining us. Philip, we appreciate it. We're here with Denise Doyle and Matt Durzik. I am your host, Eric McKenna. I promise you, we'll be right back.
Join the 28th Annual Beaver County Festival of Trees in the Lodge at Brady's Run for a dazzling display of over 30 trees and wreaths. If you haven't been to the Beaver County Festival of Trees, you need to make plans this year. Beaver County Festival of Trees opens Thanksgiving evening at 5 p.m. and is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday noon till 9 p.m. Make plans now for Breakfast with Santa and Friends Saturday, November 25th from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Hurry, reservations are only being accepted up until November 13th. Admission is $10, ages 4 and over, and under 3 get in free. Call 724-201-1797 or sign up at beavercountyfestivalofTrees@gmail.com. Visit Candy Cane Lane Gift Shop and choose a special holiday gift or novelty for a family member or special friend. And don't forget, Sunday, November 26th is Armed Services Appreciation Day. Enjoy an amazing outdoor lighted show and displays including chainsaw carvers and a real live reindeer on Sundays. Net proceeds benefit the Children and Youth Services Advisory Board and USSR Corp. For more information and schedules, visit beavercountyfestivalofTrees.org.
The Reverend Gary Hilton and the Reverend Alan Brooks of Chippewa United Methodist Church would like to cordially invite you to come join their congregation in celebrating the life of Christ every Sunday morning from 11 to 11:30 a.m. on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. The Chippewa United Methodist Church is located at 2545 Darlington Road in Beaver Falls. So if you can't make it to the service, then listen every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA to the Reverend Gary Hilton and the Reverend Alan Brooks of Chippewa United Methodist Church.
Join us at 8:05 Saturday morning for the Saturday Sports Slam. There's lots to talk about, including the Steelers game with the Colts in Indianapolis, and Pitt plays at Heinz Field with North Carolina.
Of course, we'll cover the high school football playoffs and also check in on the progress of the Penguins.
The Saturday Sports Slam is brought to you by Rochester Manor and Villa, J&J Spratt Funeral Home in New Brighton, and Stone Creek Structures in Aliquippa.
For the best in local sports talk, join us from 8:05 to 9:45 Saturday morning for the Saturday Sports Slam.
Beaver County's hometown radio stations, 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA.
Well, what a lively show we have today. Welcome back, friends. You're listening to the Eric McKenna Show on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA, real estate talk and much more.
Much more.
Wow.
My special guest today is Denise Doyle with PA Land Title, and of course, my great friend is here every week, enduring my nonsense, Mr. Matt Durzik. Good to be back for another segment. I want to burn through, but very importantly state all of my wonderful sponsors here. As you know, friends, this show is sponsored by some great people. Frags Tags in Coriopolis for all your title, notary, and transfer needs. You can visit Frags Tags at 412-264-3018, 412-264-3018. Lifestyle, family, and portrait photographer Ms. Dawn Morris. From infants to toddlers, preteens to graduation, and beyond. Let Dawn capture your family's very special moments. What she does with color is phenomenal. Visit her at gypsysoulsphotography.com or call Dawn for a session at 412-337-8348. Our go-to mortgage agent, Miss Leslie Raymond with Union Home Mortgage. Contact Leslie for your refi or new mortgage needs. 412-719-5673. NMLS 138287 and PA license number 29666. There we go. Matt Pia and Steve Kowalik with Division 9 Home Inspectors, our go-to home inspector. Matt and Steve are the finest, one of the finest home inspectors in all of the region. Love their work. If you have any questions about your home, whether you're buying or selling, or if you just want an owner's manual to your home so you know the condition and you know where everything's at, these are the people to call. 412-715-8123 or visit Division, 9, inspection.com. Of course, this show would be nothing without Diamond Dave Bishop and Big Bang Comics and Collectibles in Swickley on Broad Street. It's a cornucopia of fun. I like to say, hey, get your inner nerd out. Visit Dave at Big Bang Comics and Collectibles or call him today at 412-259-8742. That's 412-259-8742. That's Diamond Dave with Big Bang Comics and Collectibles. He should be calling in with the Diamond Dave Deal of the Week right after the start of the hour. I hope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he called in early last week, so he may even come.
He may call in a little early.
Yeah, I mean, because he was getting ready for the Swickley Halloween parade.
Yes, he was.
Where I'm pretty sure everyone was dressed up as someone low class. Never mind, I didn't say that.
The Durs.
Did I say that?
Do you see why I love this guy? Do you see? I knew it.
You knew it.
I knew it. Of course, this show is also sponsored by our great friend and regular reoccurring guest on this show, Mr. Jim Taddeo with QualityBassForLess.com. Again, that's QualityBassForLess.com. If you're thinking about any, and I mean any kind of renovation, small, medium, or extravagant in your bathroom, this is the man to call without a doubt. Save money, get it done right, and get it done professionally. Jim Taddeo, QualityBassForLess.com, 412-758-7345. And last but certainly not least, our great friend, Mr. Hamilton Hope with Hope Roofing and Gutters. That's Hope Roofing and Gutters. If you have any questions about your gutters or anything concerns, sometimes we just know we need a new roof. Sometimes we just know. We keep putting it off. I've done it. Everybody's done it. If you have the need for repair or you can think you may need a new roof, start at the top. Start with Hamilton Hope at Hope Roofing. Honesty and integrity. He's done over 25 years of work in the Valley. Great guy. Hamilton Hope, 412-264-7598. 412-264-7598. That's Hope Roofing. And as a realtor, I will tell you, everybody that comes look at your house starts at the top. And that's your roof.
There you go.
All right, so we're back with Denise Doyle. Yes, we're back with Denise Doyle. And we're talking about the work she does in the closing arena with real estate. And like I said, I love to get my clients to closing because that means, number one, success is on the horizon.
Get a paycheck. Get a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yes, we do this to get paid. I have to feed my family naturally. Sure. But in the end, I'm a realtor that does not put dollar signs above my clients' heads. I mean, it's not a good way to do business, and we never do that. But in essence of it, yes, as a byproduct of the closing, the realtors are paid, but everybody gets paid generally at closing. That includes the mortgage companies, all the parties for the exchange of the transaction, the money going in, the money going out, the satisfaction of all the requirements and so forth.
Sure.
All that takes place at closing. Now, Matt says we have a call on the line.
Yes,
Is
we
that
do.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Good morning. You're on the Eric McKenna Show.
Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Morning, Charlie.
Good morning.
Charlie, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I have a semi-important question and a very important question. Now, you remember my last important question was about Eagle chips.
It was with Amy. That's correct. Yes.
Now, I was washing dishes, like my normal Saturday routine, and I'm listening to the show.
Yes, sir.
Denise, did you say that when I paid off my mortgage on my house back in 1980, if I didn't hand carry that note to the Beaver County Courthouse and show them that it was satisfied, that mortgage could still be floating around showing unpaid somewhere?
I did say that.
Wow.
And I don't know that because I'm not sure what you received. At a typical closing, you sign 2 documents. You sign 100 documents, but 2 that pertain.
Or 500.
Termite inspection and paid a realtor.
Exactly.
And that second one was the most important one. I want to let you know.
But you sign the 2 that are most pertinent to the money that you're borrowing are a mortgage and a note. Now, the note is your personal promise to pay back the money, and that your mortgage company would regularly and routinely send you stamped paid in full. The mortgage is the document that secures the debt on the real estate, and that is filed at the courthouse. So if your mortgage company sent you, and it would be titled, and pretty easily seen that it's titled that way, a satisfaction piece.
Okay. Well, I have a safety deposit box. I feel that's one of the best investments you can make for a few dollars a year for those kind of things. So I guess my next question is that something that I personally could go to the courthouse and see, or am I going to have to pay a lawyer $100 to call his brother-in-law over to courthouse to see if it's satisfied?
Not at all. You would absolutely be able to go down to the Beaver County Courthouse into the Recorder of Deeds office. There are a number of clerks there who would be happy to help you to determine that has or has not been removed of record.
Okay, so I would take my satisfaction papers from the building and loan, which would have my parcel number and all that important data on it.
That's correct.
And go over, and they would say yay or nay.
That's exactly right. They would say, yes, this satisfaction piece was filed, whenever you paid it off, January 1st, 1990.
Okay.
And then if it's not, that's the time where you got to take a look and see what kind of paperwork you have to see if, in fact, you do have the original satisfaction piece, which is possible. And I think the recording fee for that now in Beaver County, probably around $60-ish for a satisfaction.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have no reason to believe that it wasn't filed. And like I say, I bought my house back when the earth was cooling and things were much simpler then. And to show you, and I think the mortgage company was called Tower Federal.
Yeah.
Tower Federal has been out of business for about 30 years.
And that brings up a very interesting point in that when we have some of these unsatisfied mortgages, trying to find somebody who actually has the authority to file a satisfaction is ridiculously difficult.
Okay, so how does that work?
There's a man across the street that I had heard bought a house very cheap, and I spoke to him, and he's a nice man, and I said, if I'd have known that was going that cheap, I'd have bought the house just to get the 2-stall garage around back.
And he said, well, brother, let me tell you about the liens we found on this property.
Oh, boy.
So he paid considerably more than the few $1,000s, that the asking price for the house was. So, well, I thank you for that information. So might be something I need to go over after hunting season and check that out. But,
my pleasure.
Charlie, I have a question for you, Charlie, before you go.
Okay, well, don't forget my important question. But go ahead, your question.
He has another one.
I thought
he had a very important just an important.
I will step back and wait for the important question first.
No, Eric, you go. It's your turn. Ask me the question because I'm going hunting here in a little bit.
All right. Well, okay. I like venison, by the way. Okay. What I wanted to say was that time when you purchased your home, way back when the earth was starting to cool and all that. Mm-hmm. Was that pre-WBVP or after WBVP?
Well, WBVP's been there for 48 years, Matt?
Yeah, since 1948.
Or 1948.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I bought the house in 1975, and believe it or not, I had a 13-year mortgage, and I paid it off in about 7 years.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, just because that guy at Tower Federal, that guy at that mortgage company that's out of business was such a pain in the butt. He told me at closing, I'm a young guy, right out of the service with a young family.
Sure.
And this is actually what he said to me at the closing.
Okay.
He looked at me and he said, young man, if you miss 2 consecutive mortgage payments, you're going to come home to find your furniture in the street.
He said that to you?
He said that to me.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's why I needed to get that paid off and then I find out he went to jail for embezzlement and fraud.
You don't say.
You don't say. Well, that's why I wanted to make sure he got my money.
Oh, my goodness.
I got thick skin, man. Matt can tell you that. I put up with some unbelievably weird situations.
I was about to say, I was probably part of half of it.
No. All right, now the very important question.
Yes, sir.
World Series, was the ball juiced?
No.
You don't think so?
No, sir. Okay. But then again, I'm not much on the conspiracy theories.
Well, I'm not either. I mean, I don't have an opinion on it. But that one game I was watching, it seemed like every pop fly went into the seats. And that game that went like 10 innings and back and forth and back and forth. And then the thing that made me a little suspicious, and I'm sure it was a superstitious thing and not a fact thing, but that Dodger closer that threw 2 balls out in a row.
Yes.
He squeezed them, he fielded them, he tasted them, whatever he did, and he just boom, and he threw 2 of them out. And I do know sometimes they'll say they'll feel them. They feel like they're a little out around or something. But so you don't think they were juiced?
No, I think it's just this is stuff that happens in the internet world and the media just to create an additional angle in the game. I just don't believe it. I just don't. I will tell you this. There were some things that looked a little strange. I know Corey Seager, I think, or Peterson, one of them from the Dodgers hit an opposite field homer in one of the games. It looked like a routine pop fly. It just kept fading and fading and fading, and it ended up going out to the to right field. Left there, it went out to left field.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Yeah, that looked like that was a little odd, but I think the wind was just blowing in Shea Ravine that night. I don't think I personally just don't buy into the whole thing. Matt?
Let me put it this way. If the ball was hitter-friendly and juiced so that the ball would be hit a lot longer, there would have been no way that Ground Chuck, Charlie Morton himself, would have won 2 Game 7s. The Astros don't make it to the World Series if the ball's juiced.
That's the best argument there against it. I mean, you have to say, right, Charlie? I mean, it's Morton, right?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, and I've always been, we share a first name, Charlie Morton, and I always kind of liked the guy. I liked his demeanor. He always seemed to be very low-keyed. He didn't seem to be excitable, unlike our stud pitcher we have in the starting rotation now, who will go unnamed.
Cole.
His initials are C-O-L-E, yeah.
Cole.
But I just, I don't have an opinion on it, but that opposite field home run, and that first night they were saying in Chavez Ravine, well, when it's hot and dry like that, the ball really carries, and then a couple nights later, the ball looked like it was absolutely clubbed, and it got caught in front of the warning track, and they say, well, there's the difference in the atmosphere, and I don't know. It was a fun World Series. I really enjoyed it. Did you guys like it?
I did. Yeah,
I did too.
Matt and I've talked off air a little bit. It's I wanted LA to win because it's hard for me to root for any. Of course, I can't root for any AL West team outside of Oakland. I can't do that. But the point was, if you love baseball, if you're a freak for baseball and you love it, that was a great exhibition. I mean, 7 solid games. I will say this about pitching. The one thing that people have to understand too, there's a trajectory in the way things are filmed. It really comes down to the type of pitch that was hit. If it was a pitch that was thrown with a lot of rotation, the odds of that ball jumping off that batter is higher. if the pitch did not have a lot of rotation, it takes a little more effort from the hitter to get the ball out. So I think sometimes the distance and the velocity of a ball coming off a bat is directly related to the type of pitch thrown. Does that make any sense?
You're right, and we've heard for years, the pitcher supplies probably half the energy to get the ball over the fence.
Physics, my friend. It's physics.
It is physics. And by the way, I believe you bet some free tacos that the Dodgers were going to win the World Series.
I did. Yes,
we got you twice.
Yeah,
Eric.
I know. Okay. So I'm gonna make good on that. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm gonna make good on that. I'll make good on that.
All right. Well, we'll take your marker, and Matt, get his signature before you leave today.
Okay. You know me well, don't you?
You guys have a good day. I'm really enjoying the show.
Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Yeah, we may have to make that maybe a company party one of these days.
Well, yeah, if I keep betting and losing, I might have to buy the whole station tacos for a week.
I don't know about a week, but one lunch will be just fine.
That's fair enough. Friends, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Show here on WBVP and WMBA. We're here with our good friend, Miss Denise Doyle with PA Land Title, and Denise has been phenomenal this first hour, and she was so nervous at first. You're doing such a great job. I mean, she's. I think Denise.
I was not nervous at all.
Tough crowd.
Well, yeah. Matt, I think what it was, was she's saying, Eric, how are we going to fill up 2 hours with talking about closing and transfer?
Wow, I mean,
we're going to have fun.
This was before I saw the headphones.
She doesn't like her
cost. These are awesome. Aren't these awesome? First of all, they weigh about 55 pounds.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yeah, when you see me getting shorter and shorter.
Okay, don't say no. I can't. When I first started this, well, okay, let's back all the way up, Matt, because you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
The station owner, Mr. Mark Peterson,
right,
is a romantic at heart, and I'm referring to nostalgia. Okay,
true.
He loves the history of the station.
You're right.
Who doesn't? Okay, so in one of my very first conversations with him, I said, "Hey, Mark, it's kind of cool. I noticed in the other room there's an old set of Koss headphones that kind of look like the ones I bought when I was a kid." So he marched me up to that room, and I showed him. He goes, "Oh, yeah, these are the Koss so-and-so branded number, and these are the originals, man. There's not a lot of range in them, but they're heavy, but they're so good." Well, I found a pair on the internet. For a couple $. I bought them for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah.
I started wearing them here. I started getting big bruises on my skull. They're like 50 pounds. So right away, I discontinued that practice right away, and I got something a little more stylish and lightweight. But today, when we were a little short on headphones, I gave them to Denise. And she looks phenomenal.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Positively.
And just in the thought of full disclosure, the other pair I was offered were aqua.
The Telex ones.
And they were just even, believe it or not, worse than this.
And to our radio audience, I'm sorry.
I'm like, go neutral. If you have to, go neutral.
And I apologize for not being able to see who we're talking to. On Facebook Live, you can see Denise's very stylishly wearing these pre-75 headphones over here.
If you want, we could trade after the break.
That is a gentleman there.
I legitimately mean that
too. All right, friends.
I feel like Lori. No kidding. I feel like Lori Partridge. I'm gonna start singing "I'll Meet You Halfway" in about 2 seconds.
And this is the Eric McKenna Show.
Simply put.
So
somebody find me a keyboard.
Real estate and more.
This is more like the roast of Eric McKenna.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, here, friends, we're here every. Oh, we got a phone call.
Yeah.
It's my mother.
Good morning. You're on the Eric McKenna Show. Yes. Good morning.
What time is Geneva playing today, sir?
Geneva, they're playing at airtime is 12:30 and kickoff is 1:00.
Kickoff 1:00.
Yes.
Is that up there at Reef Stadium?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888.
Your next call is going to be about weather.
Well, hey, that was one of the more milder missed calls. Am I right on the show?
I wouldn't even call it a missed call. I mean, we have the game on.
Yeah,
No question.
there you go. Okay, that's fair.
It's all groovy and it's all good. Everything's fantastic. Okay, I'll just bring the decorum back to somewhat regular levels here. In our second hour, Denise is going to continue through the closing process in a very professional way.
Of course.
Naturally. And we're going to talk about why this is probably, to me, while maybe the most complex part of the entire real estate transaction, it's also one that you as a consumer working with your realtor can kind of relax, because Denise and her company kind of take the bull by the horns, and they walk it through to completion. Providing we've done our work together as my client and as your realtor, we've done our work together. We've gotten under agreement. We have a tremendous loan officer. We have a lender that's working with you. We've done all of our parts, and we've done everything that we've been asked of. By the time it goes to Denise and her crew, they do all the heavy lifting, and they prepare it all for your golden day, your taco eating day.
Taco eating day.
Of closing on your property, which is, and it's things you learn, obviously, as a young agent. Number one is to always turn your video camera on when you start a show.
Are you serious? Are you? I know you're under the weather, Eric.
Yeah, I am under the weather, but I'm standing, I'm erect, and we are functioning as a show today, which is wonderful. So, Matt, we got a couple minutes before we go to the news.
Yes.
So let's just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Let me just ask you again about the story you told me, since we have a few minutes. What the heck are you talking about? Someone went into a McDonald's.
No, not into a McDonald's. Through the drive-thru.
Someone went to a McDonald's, drove through the drive-thru, put a gun to. I'm assuming they weren't pointing the gun to the sign, right?
No.
And speaking into the sign, they went to the window and they threatened that they wanted an Egg McMuffin.
Oh man,
is that right?
I guess actually, I'm seeing a story now that's actually. It wasn't an Egg McMuffin. It was a steak bagel.
Oh.
Well, that explains it all.
That changes everything.
Oh, yeah, totally. You have been exonerated for your sins.
Can't imagine going post-away for an Egg McMuffin, but a steak bagel? That's another story entirely.
Oh, my. So they went to the drive-thru, demanded a steak bagel at gunpoint.
No. They demanded a steak bagel or an Egg McMuffin or whatever it was. They demanded a sandwich. And the
teller said no without money.
Well, no. The teller said we were out.
Oh,
yeah, they were out of the steak bagel or Egg McMuffin, and so I guess the guys who wanted this food were so angry that they went up to the window and drew a gun.
Bring me a steak bagel. Don't lie to me. I know you're not out.
I mean, I've been hungry before. Don't get me wrong. There's been times in my life.
We all have, Eric. We all have.
I've been hungry, but I mean. At gunpoint? I mean, it's McDonald's, for goodness sake.
I might draw a gun over a crab cake at 524 Walnut, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get too excited about a missed Egg McMuffin.
No, it's a steak bagel. It's a different.
Even a steak bagel. I mean, let's talk about the quality of steak at McDonald's.
Fair point.
Excuse me, could I have my Secretariat bagel?
Woo! Okay, so yes.
You're the one who brought this story back up, so don't look at me on this one.
No, I have, but I mean, it's funny because you hit me with that the moment we came on the air today, and as we were going through the next segments, in the back of my brain, I'm trying to rationalize what the heck is he talking about.
Well, here's the thing: you're rationalizing a situation that requires no rationale. It's just we talked for about 10 minutes about this yesterday, myself and Pat Septak, and we still didn't have any answers. So
wait, you mean Pat didn't come up with an answer?
No.
Wow.
Although he did say that maybe they got the wrong restaurant. We're trying to have it there way too much.
Oh, witty. Okay.
Very witty.
Well, it is obvious one thing this show needs right now is a break. So, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Show, real estate talk and more every Saturday from 10 to noon here on WBVP 1230. In Chippewa and Beaver Falls, and 1460 WMBA in Ambridge and Crescent Township. And now, stay tuned for Town Hall News.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Where's the investigation? Donna Brazile dropped a bombshell this week with her claims that the DNC rigged the Democratic Party in the election toward Hillary Clinton. So why is the Department of Justice not investigating? Author Ed Klein told the Salem Radio Network that Jeff Sessions claims that he does not want to politicize the Justice Department.
Not only is the president and many Republican members of Congress urging Jeff Sessions to appoint a special prosecutor on the Hillary Clinton case, but there are several prosecutors within the Justice Department that are pressuring Jeff Sessions to do so.
Ed Klein predicts the president will assign Sessions to another cabinet post and choose another attorney general, possibly within a month. In Hawaii yesterday, President Trump paid a solemn visit to Hawaii's Pearl Harbor and its memorial to the USS Arizona before embarking on his trip to Asia. While in Asia, don't expect the president to roll back his normally fiery rhetoric toward North Korea.
The president has used colorful language in response to North Korea's nuclear tests, talking about fire and fury and being locked and loaded. White House National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster was asked if the president might modulate his rhetoric while overseas.
I don't think the president really modulates his language. Have you noticed him do that?
And McMaster says the president's rhetoric isn't the problem.
I've been aware of the discussions about, hey, is this inflammatory? No, what's inflammatory is the North Korean regime and what they're doing to threaten the world.
Greg Clugston, the White House.
New complaints of sexual harassment on Capitol Hill.
The chairman of the House Administration Committee says he wants to make sure training about sexual harassment is offered to members of Congress, along with support for anyone who has a complaint to file. After the Hollywood scandal began unfolding, several women who serve or served in Congress said they were subjected to groping or crude comments.
That's correspondent Jackie Quinn. More from townhall.com.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Madison Reed, and my mom named her revolutionary hair color company after me. My mom taught me that women can do anything they set their mind to.
Hi, I'm Madison's mom, Amy Errett. I founded Madison Reed with the idea to create luxurious, ammonia-free, salon-quality, at-home hair color that saves women time and money. In under an hour and for less than $25, Madison Reed delivers gorgeous, multi-dimensional, shiny hair. I'm proud to say Madison Reed is a female-led company. From our chief marketing officer to our master colorist, we're all women and top experts in our field. Founded in love, we are a hair color company led by women, made for women. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code GRATEFUL. That's code GRATEFUL.
Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Bingo.
Another 676 government documents related to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy have been released by the National Archives.
The release follows by just over a week another massive release that was approved by President Donald Trump to meet a congressional mandate. Included in the new release are documents showing after the president's assassination, U.S. officials focused on Lee Harvey Oswald's trip to Mexico City a few weeks earlier. A CIA message sent 2 days after Kennedy was killed questioned whether Oswald had been trying to obtain visas at the Soviet and Cuban embassies in Mexico City in order to make a quick escape after assassinating the president. There are also records from the Justice and Defense Departments, the House Select Committee on Assassinations, and the National Archives. Mike Gracia, Washington.
Unless you plan to show up for your appointments about an hour early tomorrow, pay heed. Daylight savings time ends at 2 a.m. local time tomorrow morning. You need to set your clock back by 1 hour. More on these stories from townhall.com. Mexico has unveiled an early warning system via a special app which can be downloaded free of charge onto cell phone.
Miguel Angel Mancera, the mayor of Mexico City, so badly affected by the earthquake of September the 19th, launches the app. It's an additional amendment and improvement to an existing one. It's a vital, instantaneous backup to more than 8,000 loudspeakers dotted in and around Mexico City, connected to a system of sensors located further south.
That's correspondent James Bleers in Mexico. Mexico's state oil company says it's made a significant onshore find in the Gulf Coast state of Veracruz. A statement from Petróleos Mexicanos says the field could represent total reserves of about 350 barrels. Pemex says the location is advantageous because it is close to existing production pipeline infrastructure. It's a find that, if proven, could actually revive Mexico's struggling oil industry. More details at townhall.com.
Here for you 24 hours a day. Beaver County's hometown radio stations, 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA.
And with Mr. Matt Durzik bringing the Who, we are back for hour number 2, commonly known as the Power Hour on the Eric McKenna Show.
Although I'll say this, it's going to be hard to top hour number 1 this day.
Yeah, there's no question. We are in a rip-roaring, raucous time here. All because of this woman over to my right. For those on Facebook Live and for those who've been listening, thank you so much. Miss Denise Doyle with PA Land Title. I think I'm just going to invite you back just for comedy purposes.
That's fair.
We're talking about closing, the process of what she does at PA Land Title. She works for a closing company that I often use as often as I can with my buyers. And Denise's function at PA Land Title is multifaceted, multi-dimensional. How about that?
Indeed.
Big word.
Indeed.
But we've been talking about obviously the parts of the process that she ties everything together so we can all sit at a table on closing day. Mm-hmm. And besides eat tacos, we're going to close on your property.
Get keys.
And get keys. Yeah, key exchange is part of that. Sometimes it's garage door transmitters. All the things I learned as a realtor. And what's always been cool for me, and you've done so many closings, like hundreds and hundreds more than me, thousands probably. What I really find cool as a realtor is when, the process is being done. And I will compliment, begrudgingly, I will compliment Denise on one thing she does tremendously well is, there's nerves at closings. People sure. It's a big transaction. Denise is just, with the comedy you've seen here, Matt, is the comedy she brings to the closing table. And we have a really good time. And Denise, and as we're going to close the show today, we're going to ask Denise to vaguely describe to us some of her more unique closings that she has.
Amen.
She has been a part of. We're going to keep the names out of it to protect the guilty.
But it's a tense time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Well, so people who ask me what I do, I say, honestly, what do I do?
You're a ringleader.
I meet a total stranger.
Uh-huh.
I walk them through about 45 minutes worth of completely mystifying paperwork.
Correct.
And then I take their life savings.
And with that, we go right to the phone lines.
What's up, Diamond Dave?
Bring that life savings over.
Bring your life savings over to Diamond Dave Bishop at Big Bang Comics and Collectibles in Swickley. What's up, my friend?
Just calling to let you know that I heard last night that Christmas is coming up.
Someone told me that too, but I didn't want to believe it.
I know. They moved it to the 25th this year. That's so annoying.
Wow, it's coming up close. But, so in honor of that, what we're going to do is we're going to do 20% off on all toys.
Wait, 20% off on all toys in the store?
All toys in the store. Yeah, there's lots of action figures and all that kind of stuff. And I kept wondering why all this stuff keeps coming in, and then someone said, hey, Christmas is coming.
Hey, Dave, I told you really need to pay more attention to that interwebs thing.
Well,
I mean,
only so much time in the day.
Well, I think that interweb thing is kind of here to stay. At least that's what they're saying anyway. So,
Yeah, well,
20% off all toys. That's 20% off all toys at Big Bang Comics and Collectibles in Swickley. You know why? Because Diamond Dave said so. And that's
because I said so.
That's right. And Dave, what's the number over there, pal?
It's 412-259-8742.
And how late are you open today?
Today we're here until 5. Sunday we're here 12 to 4. Monday through Friday, 12 to 7.
There you go. That's
awesome.
Big Bang Comics and Collectibles in Swickley, our lead sponsor here on the Eric McKenna Show on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. Dave, I appreciate it, my friend. As always, thank you for checking in, and we're going to bring you some more comedy with Denise, I'm sure. We got a whole another hour to rip roaring time.
We do.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Thanks so
All right,
much.
take it easy.
Talk to you. Oh, my.
25% off all toys. That's a really good deal.
It doesn't play around over there. And it's such a cool place. You know, it's tough for me to be objective because I've known him for so long, and I've watched him build this really great business. But it really is a really cool place. You don't even have to. I couldn't tell you last time I read a comic book, but it's just a cool place. I take my kids over there, and it's funny. My son will say, "Dad, you know, it's not really my thing," you know. And I'm like, I understand, but just come on over anyways. And by the time we leave, he's like, got 5 things. So, you know how it is, right? And he's 16 years old, so.
I'm not a kid anymore, Dad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Interesting how that worked. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Friends, we're here with Denise Doyle from PA Land Title, and we're talking about the closing process. So we have now vetted out, you know, you're going to do a title search, make sure there's no encumbrances. It's a big word, kind of like gymnasium. Mm-hmm. On the title, right? I mean, you know.
Yeah, but one came out smoother than the other, let's be honest.
Jeez, man, tough crowd.
Gymnasium, trying to make sure your title isn't smelly. Go ahead.
All right, the Clearasil thing was a good, there's no blemishes on the title, meaning you're free and clear to either buy or sell this property.
Right.
Okay, and then we were discussing, help me.
Lien letters?
Yeah.
Tax certifications?
Yes, yeah. Let's go to
water and sewer letters?
Let's go to the phone calls, Matt. Save me.
Good morning. You're on the Eric McKenna Show.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I have a question.
Sure.
If I lived out of town and I was selling my home, does the title company accept a signature? If they send the documents and I sign it, do they accept that?
Do you mean, do they accept it electronically, an electronic signature?
Yes.
We can accept an electronic signature on everything but the deed. So that's something that you would actually have to, what we call wet sign, in the presence of a notary public, wherever you're located, and then get us back that original document.
Oh, do I mail it back or?
You sure can. You can overnight mail it. We can't take it electronically. But the other items, your settlement sheet, or the seller disclosure, and there are a couple of other ancillary seller documents that can all be signed electronically. But the actual deed,
closing company, is that mandatory that you have to send them the seller disclosure? Do they want that?
Yes, they do, because, and by seller disclosure, I don't mean what you sign when you list your property.
That's what I'm talking about.
No. I'm talking about the form at the end. The mortgage company calls it a seller disclosure. And effectively what it is, it's an itemization of your costs of the transaction.
Oh, I see. And what about the accepted inspection report?
Sure.
So is that mandatory?
It's not mandatory. It's always recommended, but not required.
You answered my question. Thank you ever so much.
Glad to hear it. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for calling.
All right. Simple as
we
that.
like to be of service, and hey, that's why I bring the experts on the show.
Oh, your favorite word.
Experts, yeah. Ooh, makes my skin crawl.
Now, why do you use it?
Well, because I don't want to ever be called one, but I have no problem calling others.
What is this, 50 Shades of Eric? Come on now.
Oh, come on. Oh, you know, I'm just trying to do the right thing. You know, trying to get ahead. What did Kramer say on Seinfeld? He said something like, oh, you know, I'm just trying to get ahead, trying to do the right thing. That's all. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, moving along. The Eric McKenna Show is sponsored weekly by a great group of people. That includes our friends at Frags Tags, located in downtown Coriopolis. Visit Frags Tags for all your title, notary, and transfer needs. Our good friends Michelle and Jonathan there. 412-264-3018. Lifestyle, family, and portrait photographer Ms. Dawn Morris. From infants to toddlers, preteens to graduations, and beyond, let Dawn capture those special moments of your family's life. What she does with color is downright amazing. Visit her at gypsysoulsphotography.com. Or call Dawn for a session today at 412-337-8348. Our go-to mortgage agent, Miss Leslie Raymond with Union Home Mortgage. Contact Leslie directly for your refi and new mortgage needs. 412-719-5673, NMLS 138287, and PA license number 29666. Matt Pia and Steve Kwadek with Division 9 Home Inspectors. Matt's one of the finest home inspectors in the Valley, and his general manager, Steve, will take care of you. They take care of my buyers. Have any questions regarding your home, or you just want an owner's manual to your house? And believe me, sounds a little funny, but until you get one, then you realize, wow, why didn't I do this originally? If any questions on your house, Matt and Steve are a great source for answers. 412-715-8123, or visit Division, 9, inspection.com. And, of course, we just spoke with our friend at Big Bang Comics and Collectibles. That's Diamond Dave Bishop. Visit him for all your collectible needs, wants, and fun on Broad Street in Swickley. 412-259-8742. That's Big Bang Comics and Collectibles. Our good friends and major sponsor, Hope Roofing. That's Hamilton Hope with Hope Roofing, serving the southwestern Pennsylvania area for 25 years. If you have any roofing concerns, you think you may need a repair, you think you may need a new roof, or you just have some questions, Hamilton's a great source of information, and there's never a fee for a consultation. It's 412-264-7598, 412-264-7598. That's Hope Roofing. Visit them at hoperoofingandgutters.com. Hamilton is our official roofing company for the Eric McKenna Show. And last but never least, our friend Jim Taddeo with QualityBassForLess.com. That's QualityBassForLess. Ooh, it's a tongue twister. Quality Bass. Don't laugh at me. QualityBassForLess.com. Mr. Jim Taddeo, a frequent guest on this here show. 412-758-7345. He should be your first call if you're thinking of remodeling, even in a small way or an elaborate way, your bathroom. Mr. Jim Taddeo, QualityBassForLess.com, 412-758-7345. Tell him you heard it on the Eric McKenna Show. Not bad.
Not bad.
I'm looking for a little reaffirmation from you.
I have to say, I mean, this, we're already about an hour 20 minutes on the show, and I think this is the first time you haven't yet to mention what number show this is, because that's one of the things you do right out of the gate.
My producer is on it. Yes. Do you have an idea?
I've been keeping attention. I would say, is this number 60?
Oh, good, close. Next week will be
59.
Yep, this is show 59. They've actually let me do this for 59 weeks. If this isn't proof that sometimes weird things happen in the universe, this show is a prime example.
Super difficult to believe.
And I will share this. Denise might not remember, because we were actually consuming a few adult beverages at a local establishment. When I first got this show, I actually ran into her and I said, Denise, they're going to put me on a radio. And she looked at me and go, Who's going
to put you on the radio?
And I remember telling you that night, and you just kept staring at me. And I don't know if maybe it was just a couple beers in, but Denise was just, they're going to put you on the radio. And you remember you said, I can see it, but I can't see it. So here we are, all these 59
True
weeks.
Statement. 59 weeks in.
And it can't happen without the listeners, without a doubt. All of you at Beaver County Radio. Mr. Mark, starting at the top, Mr. Mark Peterson. Frank Sparks helped design this show many, many moons ago. We've gone from Saturdays from 1 hour all the way to Wednesdays, and back now to Saturdays on a 2-hour format. They give me 2 hours here, Denise. Are they crazy? They give me 2 hours to pontificate. And Matt Durzik volunteered to be my producer. He did when Frank couldn't oblige when we came back to Saturday, because our audience demanded we came back to Saturday, and we did. But it's been, all kidding aside, that's hard on this show, but all kidding aside, it's been phenomenal. I really love the opportunity to reach out to the good people of Beaver County and beyond. The Facebook live stream is just phenomenal. There's Brad, Michelle, John, Amy, Dorothy, Mark, Natalie, Bill, Gwen. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's made this show go. The audience participation has grown every week. And Matt made a comment to me off the air last week. He says, there's more and more phone calls now. There's more activity. And we've had a couple name changes here. We were your personal realtor for a long time. For legal reasons and so forth, we've had to alter the name a little bit. And I'm comfortable with just having it be the Eric McKenna Show, Real Estate Talk and More, because it is a variety show. And we don't want to inundate or give our audience, 2 solid hours of real estate talk.
I mean, this isn't a classroom. This is a radio show.
No, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. And I've been given the latitude by Mark Peterson, the station owner and general manager, to run the show the way, within limits, of course, but run the show pretty much the way Matt and I want to, and we do. And it's a lot of fun. The feedback's been tremendous. I want to sincerely thank all of you for even spending even a couple minutes out of your Saturday. We see people come and go on Facebook, and some people will tell me, hey, I listened to 20 minutes of your show, but I had to go back to work. Or, hey, thank you. If you gave us 5 minutes, that's all the credibility that I really want. And thank you for making us a small part of your Saturday. And here comes that word again, Matt. It's humbling. It's truly humbling. Okay, we're going back to Denise Doyle with PA Land Title. Am I up against the break? I guess I am, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, let's go to our break. We're going to come back with Denise. A little more technical talk, just so we can sew it up here. And then we're going to talk to Denise about some of the more strange closings that she's had at PA Land Titles. This is the Eric McKenna Show. I am your host, RE/MAX Advanced Realtor Eric McKenna. Come back with us with Matt Durzik, my producer, and we'll do a little more fun, maybe a little baseball, and I promise you, a little more with Denise Doyle.
Join the 28th annual Beaver County Festival of Trees in the Lodge at Brady's Run for a dazzling display of over 30 trees and wreaths. If you haven't been to the Beaver County Festival of Trees, you need to make plans this year. Beaver County Festival of Trees opens Thanksgiving evening at 5 p.m. and is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday noon till 9 p.m. Make plans now for Breakfast with Santa and Friends Saturday, November 25th from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Hurry, reservations are only being accepted up until November 13th. Admission is $10, ages 4 and over, and under 3 get in free. Call 724-201-1797 or sign up at beavercountyfestivalofTrees@gmail.com. Visit Candy Cane Lane Gift Shop and choose a special holiday gift or novelty for a family member or special friend. And don't forget, Sunday, November 26th is Armed Services Appreciation Day. Enjoy an amazing outdoor lighted show and displays including chainsaw carvers and a real live reindeer on Sundays. Net proceeds benefit the Children and Youth Services Advisory Board and USSR Corp. For more information and schedules, visit beavercountyfestivalofTrees.org.
Hello, friends. This is RE/MAX Advanced Realtor Eric McKenna with CallEric.com and host of Your Personal Realtor on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. I really hope you are enjoying today's show. Friends, did you know that I can be your personal realtor? That's right. If you're looking to list your home or buy a new home, call or text me today at 412-613-4466. That's 412-613-4466. Or send me an email at sold@calleric.com. That's sold@calleric.com. I just love it when listeners become clients. So why not contact me today and let me put my social media advertising to work for you. Together, we can reach your real estate goals. This is your personal realtor, Eric McKenna, with RE/MAX Advanced Realtors and CallEric.com.
Check us out at beavercountyradio.com.
And welcome back to the Eric McKenna Show on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. I'm here with Matt the Durzik, my producer extraordinaire, and Miss Denise Doyle with PA Land Title, a very prestigious closing company in the western Pennsylvania area, which I use quite often by choice, I might add. Denise has been fantastic today, and I'm suffering, friends. Trust me, I'm under the weather. It's everything I got all the medication possible to stand here today and do the show. So Denise has really helped me tremendously, keeping the vibe going and the humor. Would you not agree, Matt?
Oh, absolutely.
It's been a very funny show. She, hey, Mark, if you're listening, she might need her own variety show. But she would probably be good at a midnight time slot.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
Let's just say I'm not really prime time material and leave it at that.
Oh, I think you're quite wrong. Special hello to Mark and Dorothy and Amy, who's hanging in there, and Cindy and Karen and everybody else on Facebook Live. Thank you for bebopping in and popping out and making us a part of your Saturday. It's It's
humbling.
It is humbling.
It's humbling.
Yeah. Matt, I can't win here. I mean, what can I say? It is humbling.
It's very humbling.
Humbling is a good word. It's self-effacing. It's good. It's good, right?
She gets the drill.
She gets it. Yeah, she does. She does. Denise, before we get into the more humorous parts of your career here, because you were telling telling Matt and I a couple stories off camera that we cannot say on the air, which are I'm still reeling from those.
Facebook Live exclusive.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
One of them was. The other one was not. Just to wrap this up, because so the title is now searched. You've already contacted municipalities to make sure there aren't any liens on the property. One of the things that what I've noticed sometimes with my sellers, especially if they're going through a tough time, it could be a divorce or something, and
Surely.
there's all kinds of in real estate. Friends, I have talked in prior weeks. We encounter a lot of different circumstances, and we're not here to make fun or light of anything, but I've dealt with divorce situations. I've dealt with some very sad situations, which I won't get into particulars. But there are times that there's, the water bills sometimes haven't been paid. And see, all of these things have to be addressed at closing, which means when there's proceeds, hopefully from the sale, these things have to be addressed before the property can transfer, because the municipalities can hold up the transaction.
Oh, they won't turn your water on.
Or as the new owner, you won't get your water on.
Exactly.
Exactly right. Each township also has their own set of quote-unquote requirements.
The dreaded dye test.
The dye test, yes. And essentially, Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, because I can be wrong at times, many times. And as a young age, this was a tough one for me. I got myself in a pickle a couple times because I didn't understand it fully. Some townships require the home seller to have either a registered plumber come out and complete a quote-unquote dye test, and we'll get into what that is in a second, or they will send a representative from their township to do it.
That's correct.
The dye test is essentially this. They're testing to make sure that your rainwater, the gutter water coming off of your house, does not enter the public sewer system. That as your downspouts come down, you see a lot of elbows. I'm guessing Home Depot and Lowe's over the past 20 years have made a fortune selling those plastic elbows that enable the water to be run off into your yard as opposed to straight down into the receptacle that came with the house that goes into the sewer system.
Into the sanitary sewer system.
And basically it's because they're trying to alleviate some of the strain on the sewer systems.
Well, sure. Nobody wants to treat rainwater.
Correct.
Right?
So that it makes sense. So is it an actual dye that goes in? Clarify this for me, because
from what I understand,
I've never watched one be done.
What they actually do is check the gutters to make sure that none of the water that's running in it. So they got to run regular water through the gutter system, and the only way to know what kind of water's heading into the sewer is to color it.
That is correct.
Right?
That is correct.
So that's what they do. They color it and they run a hose through the gutter. And if they're looking into the sanitary sewer trap and they see pink,
there's a problem.
Yeah,
Houston,
it's not a girl.
You're correct.
That's bad news.
That's bad.
It's super bad news.
That is bad news. Yes.
It's not good news.
Now,
it's a girl. It's bad news. You got to fix it.
And we continue here at the Eric McKenna Show. Yes, moving along. But the point being, the runoff water needs to be splayed out into your yard. Okay.
And it could be blue dye. I don't want to be considered discriminatory.
Don't be discriminatory.
It's a girl, it's a boy. I don't want anybody.
Don't be gender specific.
I'll be gender neutral.
Yes.
It was yellow. They put yellow dye in.
It's 2017.
Well, not only that, but when you're talking millennials, there's now the new thing called gender fluid.
Now wait a minute.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
don't tell my generation.
I don't even know what that is. Okay, so each township also can have other requirements. One of them being an occupancy permit.
That's correct.
Which is
typically
a nice way of saying pay us $75.
Yeah, and it also covers, especially in some of the older communities,
Here
right?
we go.
Where the homes are a little bit older.
Here we go.
They want to ensure, A, there are smoke alarms.
Here we go.
B, there are maybe carbon monoxide detectors. C, there aren't any stairs that don't have railings that might result in a slip and fall.
Here we go.
Now, wait a minute. I can understand a couple of those things, but stairs without railings, there's actually people installing those?
Oh, that's a big FHA gig.
Well, and here's the thing, Matt. There's different levels of the process. So if you hire a home inspector when you're buying a house, which I always recommend, while it's not connected to your mortgage, it's not connected to Denise,
correct,
the private thing between you and the home inspector. The home inspector is going to point out, hey, there needs to be a railing on these stairs and an appropriate type of railing.
Yep.
But the inspection is just a suggestion. When the appraiser from your mortgage company comes to appraise the home, if it's an FHA or a VA loan, and sometimes I've seen it on a conventional.
Yeah.
If it's very egregious, meaning it's a big staircase and it needs a railing, they can put a condition on your mortgage saying, hey, I'm going to appraise the house for the right value, but until you get a railing, Mr. Seller or Mr. Buyer, if someone goes in there now and puts a railing on there, we're not going to approve your mortgage till that is done. So that could be one level of stopgate. And let's say it does pass the appraisal. It can now come to the last final inspection, which is from the occupancy permit inspector locally or the building inspector typically. He can raise she can raise an objection there.
Right.
So, yes, a railing or lack thereof can hold up a transaction.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. Now, I'm not dismissing the need for carbon monoxide, smoke detectors, safe stairs. I'm for safety 100%.
Right. For all of it.
But as realtors, we see a lot, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and sometimes they clash with each other.
Right.
And, it's...
and there are some GFI receptacles.
GFI, which is the electrical outlet that provides the short protection so they're not arcing, meaning you're not going to electrocute yourself.
Correct.
Those need to be around water sources, so in your counters and your laundry room and
kitchens specifically.
Absolutely, and bathrooms. So those are the important safety things. I'm not discounting any of that, but I'm saying there's at times you can pass. At times your home inspector might not have noticed it.
Correct.
At times your appraiser didn't bring it up. And here we are at the last step where the municipality comes in and makes an issue of it. So, it's unfortunately, there's a lot of hands in the pie. And part of Denise's job as a closing company is to tie them all together, which, is not always easy. As Denise
not always easy. And why we always recommend very candidly, if you know you're in a municipality as a seller and you've got to get a dye test or you've got to get a home inspection, do it. Do it when you list the property. They're good for a year.
Absolutely.
For the most part. Some municipalities are good for even longer.
Absolutely right.
So just get it done. Bite the bullet. Pay the $50.
There's a lot of other things, too, that each municipality has unique things. Now, I will tell you, Coraopolis has something that's unique.
Backflow preventer.
Yes, and it's... so
does Shaler, FYI.
I know. There's a couple municipalities in Allegheny, and I think there's two in Beaver that actually require it. It's a little device, and they basically... I think if you own the home... I believe it was a mandate in 2004 or 5 or something that Coraopolis sent out a letter to all the homeowners saying, hey, effective this date, you need to have this installed in your house. What do most homeowners do? Throw it away. And that's okay, supposedly, if you stay in your house till you pass. But if you go to sell that house, you can't sell it without this little device.
That being installed.
And I got a great guy who's, very good at installing them. It's $75 and $25 for the installation if it's an easy installation.
Super fast.
But it's still another obstacle.
Right.
But I've been explained why it's necessary in Coraopolis, and while it's kind of a pain, I get it. So, again, as realtors, we like to know what's required for our clients, but we also have great lending. We have great closing companies such as Denise's and great closing officers such as Denise's who's reminding us, hey, by the way, although closing's 4 weeks out, Eric, we're headed toward the Johnson closing file. Remember, this is Coraopolis. Make sure you get the backflow preventer. Or, hey, this is Crafton. Make sure you contact that building inspector early because his schedule is 3 weeks out.
Correct.
And sometimes if they don't get out to do the building inspection, you don't close on time.
And the reason for that, and a lot of these municipalities have gotten really smart about it, you could close without an occupancy permit and do a little letter between the seller and the buyer. Hey, we promise we'll have whatever needs to be done. We'll get it handled. But what these municipalities have learned to prevent that is they hold back necessary information.
Yes, they do.
So if you don't get the dye test, they don't give us the final sewer bill. If you don't get the occupancy inspection and permit issued, they don't give us the tax tax information.
And what does that mean when you don't get the information you need?
Can't close.
You don't close. So everybody's waiting for Monday. We're closing on Monday. Everybody's
Right.
getting ready. They're making special plans.
Yeah.
The moving truck's there.
Moving trucks.
And people, all your friends and family are excited. They're going to join you, and you're going to buy pizza and beer and move in.
Utilities.
And tacos.
And of course the tacos.
Of course, tacos.
And the seller is getting ready to get on a flight because they're retiring. They're going to Florida. They're getting out of this town. They're going to the sunshine. And all of a sudden, Denise calls me at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday and says, Eric, we're not closing Monday. And Eric goes, oh, my God. Please.
Kind of. Almost
Please.
exactly like that.
Pretty much, yeah. Then I catch my breath. I say, okay, what can I do? And Denise goes, we've tried. We've exhausted our efforts. These things weren't completed. And thankfully, it's usually not my side of the equation because my stuff is done.
Exactly.
But it's on the other side of the equation. The other party to the transaction didn't get one or two pieces done. And we don't look for blame. We don't. Because it doesn't solve the problem.
No, it doesn't.
We just try to get involved and get it done. Sometimes we, again, there's a lot of moving parts. That's why the closing company is such an important part of the transaction. Now, you're wondering, okay, well, how would I even know what closing company to pick? And this is what Denise and I were talking about off camera before we came on today. I'm going to say this, but I'm going to watch how I say it, okay? Because it's the buyer of every transaction. All my buyer clients and all my seller clients use everybody they use, including me, at their pleasure. What that means is they're making a conscious choice to use who they want, their realtor, their lender, their home inspector, and their closing company. It's their choice. When someone asks me to represent them and I use them, or I don't use them, that's a terrible phrase. I don't use them, but they use me as their realtor. What I tell them is loosely, I have a team, meaning that these are vendors that I have a great amount of respect for and I have great experience with. And more importantly, I have watched them interact with my buyers and sellers to the highest degree of quality. I don't have a financial relationship with them. I don't have a business relationship with them. We're far apart in those regards as me and the man on the moon. I just trust them because this is a process. It's a journey and there's a lot of moving parts. And because of that, if any part of the process is deficient or doesn't do a good job, then you're not getting to closing on time or ever. Or ever. So, when I say my team, Leslie Raymond, the Union Home Mortgage, Matt Pia and Steve Kowadik at Division 9 Home Inspection, okay, all the Alan Bueller on the presentation, the video, and the photography of your property if you're selling your home, and for my buyers, without question, PA Land Title. And again, they're not obliged to use anyone I recommend, but I think it's wise for a client to lean on their realtor. That's why we're being hired, for our knowledge, for our advocacy, and our kindness, and the tacos, of course. But the point, obviously, is you want to trust your realtor's judgment, and you want a realtor with enough experience, enough deals under their belt to know what home inspectors are good and which ones to stay away from. What local lenders are phenomenal, and who you need to stay away from. Get it, Spaceship Mortgage and all that national stuff. And what closing company is going to sew all this together in one little neat package and get you closed on time and have some kindness and fun along the way. Thus, that's why PA Land Title is my go-to land. And Denise, all kidding aside, I wouldn't recommend my buyers go anywhere else.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, and Denise brings this humor and fun into the closing room. She does. And the last part of the show, after we're going to go to a break here, but we come up back from the break, we're going to talk about some of the more interesting closes Denise has had in her career, and it's fun. It's a fun way we're going to end the show, but it's also to show you that, hey, when you're a realtor, you wear a multitude of hats, but the closing officer at a closing oftentimes has to wear just as many hats
Absolutely.
as a realtor.
Yeah.
So, okay, my friends, this is
part psychiatrist.
Yes, indeed. Ringmaster, referee,
psychiatrist.
And now we can add
counselor,
radio talk show comedian.
comedian. It's all there.
This is the Eric McKenna Show. This has been a tremendous closing on 2 hours. Special thanks to Denise Doyle from PA Land Title, my producer at large, the extraordinary Matt Durzik. I am Eric McKenna, and I promise you we'll be right back.
Hello, friends. This is Remaxed Advanced Realtor Eric McKenna with CallEric.com and host of Your Personal Realtor on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. I really hope you are enjoying today's show. Friends, did you know that I can be your personal realtor? That's right. If you're looking to list your home or buy a new home, call or text me today at 412-613-4466. That's 412-613-4466. Or send me an email at sold@calleric.com. That's sold@calleric.com. I just love it when listeners become clients. So why not contact me today and let me put my social media advertising to work for you. Together, we can reach your real estate goals. This is your personal realtor, Eric McKenna, with Remaxed Advanced Realtors and CallEric.com.
The Reverend Gary Hilton and the Reverend Alan Brooks of Chippewa United Methodist Church would like to cordially invite you to come join their congregation in celebrating the life of Christ every Sunday morning from 11 to 11:30 a.m. on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. The Chippewa United Methodist Church is located at 2545 Darlington Road in Beaver Falls. So if you can't make it to the service, then listen every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA to the Reverend Gary Hilton and the Reverend Alan Brooks of Chippewa United Methodist Church.
For the need-to-know info on Beaver County entertainment, join Scott Tatey, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, and Frank Sparks every Thursday from 11:30 to noon for the new Notes on Entertainment show. Brought to you by Woolly Bullies in New Brighton, Notes on Entertainment is your source for the latest on local talent in the Beaver County area. So join Scott Tatey and Frank Sparks every Thursday from 11:30 to noon as they discuss the next big acts coming to your area on WBVP and WMBA.
This is WBVP and WMBA.
All right, little Philip Bailey action on the Eric McKenna Show.
Immediately discrediting Phil Collins. Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
Absolutely.
And my request for I Think I Love You from Keith Partridge, completely ignored.
Let me check that.
No, wait a second. No, Denise, don't get above yourself.
Fell on deaf ears. Fell on deaf ears here.
This is still the Eric McKenna Show.
At 12:30 WBVA.
Get the call
Fell
letter.
on deaf ears.
Get the call letters right. If you're gonna make a request like that, get the call
well,
letters.
you kept
right.
moving. I'm trying to read them behind you. I'm like 12:30 W. Move your head. BVP. Looked like a B.
Oh my God. It's like
1460 WMBA. That one I could get.
In Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
In Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
That's where we've been for the past hour and 45 minutes. And,
correct.
We've had a lot of fun with Denise Doyle.
Coffee free, might I add. So
yeah,
imagine what I'm like caffeinated.
I can't. You are definitely coming back on this show. There's
I'm
no
about
doubt
a quart low, and I'm still fun.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, to those who've been on Facebook Live, I see we got some new folks. Stormy, thank you. Dorothy. My wife, Natalie's on there. How are you?
Hey, Nat.
I think she's coming. She's viewing, I want to say. I never know where my wife, okay, I admit it. I never know where my wife flies off to. She's a flight attendant for American Airlines. And I should know that either she's in Manchester or London or Madrid or, Barcelona and, But she tells me when I drop her off the airport, then I forget. And then I see her a couple of days later. So I think she's in London, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
But hey, she's here, so I appreciate that. What can I say? She's somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in Europe.
But she's probably having a better time than I'm having, although I'm having a blast today.
I was going to say, I find that hard to believe. Even Europe, I don't think, could match the Eric McKenna Show. I don't know.
With Denise Doyle for 2 hours. What could possibly be more fun than that, Matt, right?
My goodness.
I mean, maybe a lottery win, but it would have to be big.
Maybe.
Big money.
I'll tell you what is fun that I'm waiting to have happen. Denise and I both share a good friend and super agent, Mr. Brian Tessier.
Indeed.
Who owns a McLaren, for those of you who likes cars. I'm not a big car aficionado, but I know what a Lamborghini is, and he's had those. And he now has a McLaren, which I had the pleasure of sitting in, but I haven't had the pleasure to take a ride in yet. Have you got a chance to ride in that yet? So, Mr. Tessier, if you're not listening now, we're going to play this back for you.
Exactly.
We both are waiting for our ride in the blue.
We're waiting for the McLaren
in the
ride.
blue McLaren ride. Okay, so Denise, to clean up the show here, thank you, number one, for coming on. All kidding aside, and that's hard with you, but all kidding aside, what you do for my clients, my buyer clients especially, although some of my seller clients have used you as well if the buyer cooperates. Oftentimes, in real estate in general, the buyer pretty much runs the show in terms of the transaction. They choose the closing company they want. Denise is so well known, and PA Land Title is so well known that sometimes the other agent in the transaction also uses Denise. So Denise has also done some deals where I had the seller. And because of that, I've had the opportunity to watch Denise work for a long period of time. And I've seen you be a referee. And I've seen you, again, all kidding aside, I've seen you tactfully diffuse some circumstances. I had a client one time that did not understand their rights to the oil, gas, and minerals, if you remember that one. And it was, there's no one to blame here. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of information. And there was just a misinterpretation for what the buyer assumed was going on and what the reality was. Denise took a potentially volatile situation, and by the time it was done, not only did my client understand, but they had a better working knowledge of how the whole thing worked. You took that extra 20 minutes to explain to them, and that meant the world to me as a realtor, especially as a young realtor back then.
Yeah, that was my first closing with you.
I think it might have been.
Yes,
I think it might have been. That was many, many moons ago. Okay, so Denise, enlighten us in your naturally humorous way of a couple of just the more interesting closings that you've been a part of.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Any time that you are in a situation with people, right?
People.
I was a people person.
I love
people ruined that for me.
Oh, I love people. I love people.
I love people. And that's the thing. People are different. Everybody has different expectations. Everybody has different thought processes. They bring a different set of experiences and or past experiences to the table.
Okay, get to the good stuff.
All right, so divorce.
Yes.
Never a pretty thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Particularly.
That almost sounds like the start of a song. Divorce.
My D.I.V. Tammy Wynette.
Oh,
yeah, so.
I told you, Matt.
He's got it.
Somewhere in here,
He's
probably.
got it. I knew it. So yeah, it's a tense time, right? And they're splitting assets, and sometimes those splitting of assets isn't 50-50. So you've got somebody getting 20, somebody getting 80, somebody,
You mean
she's
of
been
the property.
correct,
So,
of whatever's
now
left.
It's right,
yeah.
right, it's now in their face.
Sure.
So,
And some of them are it's super professional, and they can manage to settle their affairs without any acrimony, but that is not always the case, right?
Okay, so enlighten us.
Yeah.
Enlighten us.
So there's the folks who have to sign their documents in separate rooms.
No, wait, back up. So they're in the same building.
They're in the same building, but
They're
they
in
can't
two
be in the
adjoining
same room
rooms, and they
together.
can't-
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So he signs his stuff, and then she signs her stuff.
Sad.
And there's some times, where the buyers and sellers feel that way about one another.
I've seen that.
So we've got buyers in one room and sellers in another, Buyer thinks the seller tried to stiff him. Seller thinks, I fixed everything but the kitchen sink, and now you want, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. In addition to that, my home's the greatest. I mean, this is
Right.
their home. They think it's awesome.
What about when there's two contentious agents? You ever had that?
Oh, that's the worst of the worst. And let me just say,
I've never been a part of that.
no, you've not.
I've never
but
seen
if
that.
you're a professional, you keep that stuff at the curb.
Absolutely.
Don't bring that into my closing room.
Wait, we got a last minute call here on the show. Let's take it.
You're on with Eric McKenna.
Yeah, thank you for taking a call.
Sure.
I had a talking to a friend last night. He's been separated for quite a few years, and he's renting. Could he purchase a home?
He sure can. Pennsylvania is a community property state, but as we like to say, 1 to buy, 2 to sell. So he can still purchase a home.
Be involved in it?
Well, here's the thing. She won't be involved and doesn't need to be involved in the purchase. But when he tries to sell it, someone's going to ask him about his marital status and whether or not she should or could have a marital interest in the property.
I see. But
he can purchase it, But he does, and I'm not an attorney, so I want to make sure I'm clarifying. I'm not giving legal advice.
You don't even play one on the radio.
I don't even play one on the radio. I'm just giving expert advice, and to use McKenna's terms.
Able to obtain a mortgage if
he absolutely can obtain a mortgage. He sure can. He can obtain a mortgage without his spouse. In fact, people do it regularly and routinely. But I would caution him that when he does go to sell that property, somebody, they're going to question. It doesn't matter whether she's on the deed or not. What they're going to ask is, did you use marital assets to purchase this property? Did you use, any kind of her funds?
I think they had a property division.
Okay.
And that part he told me is all settled. So he really doesn't owe her anything.
Okay. But that's, like I said, it's always better to get the paper.
Absolutely.
So
or as a suggestion, he can. And as a suggestion that just occurred to me, once he purchases it, if they're at least on speaking terms, a good idea would be to have her actually execute a deed, just indicating that she was extinguishing any marital interest she may have.
I see.
Cost you not a lot of money, right? $100 to prepare it, and it costs you in Beaver County probably it's $71 to record. So for that $200, you're probably buying yourself a whole lot of peace of mind.
Once you'd have your attorney do that, right?
You sure could.
Okay. I'm going to call him. He's going to be glad to hear that. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. You're very welcome.
Thanks so much, sir. Awesome. That's we like to be of help when we can here.
Yeah.
Besides make you laugh.
Correct.
Because that's we're pretty good at that.
Yeah. But just that situation you were describing, that just seems like that could be a whole pile of insanity. Just
Oh, you've no idea.
That
one of the most difficult closings I ever had, and this is no fooling. The gal was married. She bought the property with her husband, so they were both on the deed, and she's trying to sell it. And we say, "Where's your husband?" I've no idea.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm like, say what? She went, he left 22 years ago. I don't even know if he's alive or dead.
So what?
No idea where he is.
How do you proceed forward there?
Well, that's a little gem we call an action of quiet title.
Ooh.
And effectively, that's a court action used to divest an interest that cannot be divested any other way.
Okay.
So basically what you're saying is that even if this husband that is missing and cannot be found is still alive, financially speaking.
Correct.
He gonna be dead.
Yeah, no fooling, man.
That is good, yes.
I mean,
yes.
That's one of you're like, girl, can't you find him? Where is he? Is he in Belize with some chippy? Just find him.
And then she's like, well, what makes you think I'll be looking for him the whole time?
I get that. Shut that door.
So the quiet title is you have legally and procedurally exhausted a lot of effort, and you have exhausted every attempt.
Yeah, an action of quiet title basically just says, if I was going to do it, Denise Doyle, I own this piece of property, and I think I should own it free and clear. But this particular person, this John Smith, he might have an interest in this property. So you file a court action, you advertise in 3 separate areas for 3 consecutive months, calling on anyone who might know the whereabouts of this dude or this dude in specific to come forward and assert his claim.
Gotcha.
If that never occurs, a judge actually issues a court order saying your interest is quieted, so you're never able to assert an interest in this property again.
And that puts the matter to rest.
Forever.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's good. And I was asked on this show long before you were on. I think it's when Frank was my producer. In the very beginning when it started, what a quiet title was. And my definition of it was similar to what Denise said, but I didn't want to speak off the cuff because it caught me off guard. So I came back the next week and explained it. I told him, I said, I'll get you a better explanation next week. And we did. And I actually contacted the gentleman who called me, got him the information. But that was a learning experience for me. I was never aware that actually can be done. So
Absolutely.
So theoretically, if you cannot find a human being or contact them or to gather any information from them, you've exhausted the efforts.
Correct.
You can indeed move forward. That's the vehicle to move forward.
That is the vehicle to move forward.
If you can't find them, they don't owe you.
And honestly, it's not just people, right? It's for mortgages. It's for,
right.
Like we touched earlier on mortgage companies that are no longer in business.
What about like a contractor's lien from like the 70s?
Well, the thing about liens that are a little different, like a mortgage lien, a mortgage document that's filed in the Recorder of Deeds office really doesn't go away ever.
Okay.
However, liens, contractors' liens, judgment liens, I wrecked my car into your front porch and your insurance company sued me for $6,000. Those liens have an end date. They have an expiration.
Interesting.
So they only last, a regular general docket or general judgment lien only lasts for 5 years. It's only good for 5 years.
Can they reaffirm them?
They can, what they call revive.
Revive.
You revive the lien. But once, and I shouldn't say it's not a bad lien, it's a lien that loses priority. After 5 years, it's no longer a priority lien.
Interesting.
Until it's revived.
Okay.
And different liens have different, like criminal judgments, indefinite.
Right.
They last forever.
Civil, though. Civil.
IRS liens, 10 years, 30 days.
Okay. 10 years, 30 days.
10 years, 30 days.
Huh.
Unless they're revived.
Matt, this has been the most informative show I've had on this, procedurally speaking.
I would say.
Yeah, and definitely the most funny.
Yeah.
Municipal liens, 20 years.
But I knew this was going to happen because I had a conversation with my very good friend, my go-to mortgage agent, Ms. Leslie Raymond with Union Home Mortgage, and I was talking to Leslie about being on the show. She's a future guest. And I told her, I said, I'm having Denise on this week. And she looked at me and her eyeballs got this big and she goes, Denise? You've talked to Denise ahead of time, right? And I go, yeah, I guess.
So you're going
No, you've talked to Denise ahead of time. She goes, right? And I go, yeah. She goes, Eric, you need to talk to Denise. You need to let her know. This is like the media. This is live radio here. I said, Denise will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was so worried about you going over the top. And you have been so restrained.
I have been restrained.
Yeah.
I can exercise restraint,
Yeah, well, you've shown that today. Somewhat. Matt hasn't had to press the button, right?
No delays. No delays.
Nothing of that sort.
Okay.
Now,
please, when I walk down the steps, it's going to be like I have Tourette's.
I'm sure.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I behaved myself for 2 whole hours. Rusher, all the way down the steps.
All right, what were you saying, Matt?
Well, because you wanted to bring it up before the end of the show, just as sort of an addendum.
Yes.
We were talking off air about concerts.
Yes, okay. All right, how long do I have?
Yeah, about a minute and a half.
All right, so we were laughing about music and so forth, and Matt made a reference that he found an old cassette tape that might have had a promotion for an old Aerosmith show, and I said, I went, ooh, okay. So many moons ago, funny story. When I was a big rock and roll kid. I mean, that was my thing. Television didn't dig it. Music was it. I had an uncle that played in a band called Gravel in Pittsburgh here. They used to open up for the Who and Zeppelin and all that good stuff. So I always was around music. So
right.
When my mother and my uncle were done like trying to get me into Zeppelin and the Who and the Guess Who and the Stones and all that, I wanted my own thing. Well, one of the first bands besides Kiss was Aerosmith.
Right.
Band, right? So I'm like 9. I'm in little
9.
Aerosmith was in town. 75. I think it was either the Toys, no, it was the Rocks tour. Anyways, Civic Arena. I made up the story I was going to sleep over at my friend's house, which that was kind of true. But him, my friend, 9 years old, and his older brother, 12, we went to the Aerosmith show on the big bus. The bus took us into Pittsburgh. And all right, so I'm terrified because I was always a really good kid, and my parents, we're gonna find out. The long and the short of it was, I'm on the floor of the Aerosmith show, dense in marijuana smoke, I might add, and I feel this hand on my back.
Ooh.
And I turn around, and it's the foreman that my father hired to work for him.
Oh, man.
Needless to say, I was busted.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, Aerosmith 70s. what I remember, it was a great show. But
at least that was good.
I couldn't walk straight for a couple weeks, and all my privileges were revoked. Friends, you have been listening to the Eric McKenna Show. That's right. We're here every Saturday from 10 to noon on
1230 WBVP in Beaver Falls
and 1460 WMBA in Ambridge and Moon Township. We'll see you again next Saturday. Take care of each other. God bless you all. And now
it's time for Frontiers in Learning.
See ya.